It's 4:04, so I'm going to go ahead and start with which I think a lot of you guys have questions about, which is getting a client and running your kickoff call and kind of next steps. And so I'm just going to briefly walk you through what that process could look like for you. And then I will point out resources in the Academy to help support you as you work with your nonprofit client. Oh, and here's my coworker. This is Shmi. Somebody says that has the mentor sessions already started. Heck yeah, they have. They have already started, and you can find the mentor sessions by clicking on what is it called? Workshops, that navigation link in the Academy, or the events tab in our Facebook group. All right, everybody wants to know about the kickoff call. Okay, here we go. I knew it. All right. All right, so I am kind of psychic, not really, but I was just paying attention. And so I know that you guys want to know, all right, I got a client. How do I work this thing? I've never done this before. How do I run a kickoff call? And really when I explain to you just how easy this is and how no sweat that you should feel about it, I hope that you guys feel some relief and have some structure in a process. And I'll point out some more resources that will support you in serving your volunteer or paid client, whatever it is that you were able to get. Okay, so for those that don't have a client yet, I just wanted to reiterate what I talked about in the kickoff call on Monday about where to find some clients. And so places to find them, I've mentioned local nonprofits. So if you've already worked with an organization that you feel connected with, well, then that would be a great place to go and volunteer. Online organizations, there are a ton of them. Just type in like volunteer online organizations. You can even type in volunteer instructional design and find places where you can volunteer your services as an instructional designer. Your friends that run a small business owners are always in need of just having some kind of process and training in place for when they hire new people. Like for instance, if I was to hire somebody to run my marketing for me, well, I might need to show them where everything is. And so if I need to show them where everything is and how to do the job and how my business works, that's going to be a long meeting. And if they leave me, that training that I've given them one-on-one is going to leave with them. And so it's really nice and really helpful for a small business to have that training and onboarding in place for each of our roles, and so that you can onboard new employees quickly and you don't have to spend the time training every single new person to do the job. So that's also, of course, true in larger organizations, but it's also true for small businesses. So if you know somebody that owns and runs a small business, they definitely have some kind of need that you could help them out with. The library, and I've mentioned this on that welcome as well, that you can go to the library and say, look, I would really like to create some instruction for the people that come to the library. What are some of the needs that I could fill for you, as far as could I create a training for something? Could I create a resource guide? What is it that I can do to serve your people? What are the questions that you get asked all the time that you would like some type of resource for? And then, of course, I saw one of our students, and I thought this was a great idea, and I wanted to go ahead and put it up in front of you guys, is they said that they made a post on their Facebook page and said, today only, I am offering my instructional design and e-learning creation services for free. Send me a message, and you can actually get real specific about, the amount of time that you will commit to their project and put some limits on that scope, right? Because really, you just want to be able to go through the process with somebody, right? And build a few assets for your portfolio and really have the experience of going through from needs analysis through, all the way through development and implementation, right? You want that experience to talk about in an interview, and you want it because you need context for to wrap your head around the instructional design process. And so you'll want to limit, just how big those projects are. And I'm going to get into that in just a moment as well. Now, if this whole process just like frightens you, first of all, I would encourage you to do it anyway. But if you still are just like, no, Robin, I didn't sign up to go and get a client without, having everything in a row. I understand, whatever. Okay, I'm with you, and I will support that feeling, and I will tell you that you could get with another student. So another option for you is that if you don't want to go the client route, you could connect with another student in our academy who might be a subject matter expert on whatever, and you could be the subject matter expert for them, and you guys could treat each other like the subject matter experts and build content based on their expertise. And you could switch back and forth that way. That is just another idea for you if for some reason you are not wanting to go and find a client to serve. All right, so a lot of people say like, what's my pitch? What's my pitch? What do I say? What do I say? What do I say? So I just wrote this up quickly. I'm sure that you guys could massage the words. I'm sure you could say it differently, but I think what I've captured here for you is the gist of it. Don't stress about this too much. And I would just say something like, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I create online learning content for adults. The reason why I don't say like, I'm an instructional designer is because a lot of people don't know what the heck that means, right? If you guys have probably talked to your friends and family, like, I want to be an instructional designer. They're like, good for you. What does that mean? And so you're like, or if you try to say like things like, I create courses, people say things like, you mean like golf courses? Okay. So that's why I say I create online learning content for adults. People can understand that. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. And then you could say something like, I love your organization because of X, whatever that reason is. Like this is, of course, if you're cold pitching to an organization. Like I mentioned earlier, you can also post an ad on your own Facebook page or whatever, and that pitch will look different from what I'm currently showing you. Okay, this is like if you're sending an email to an organization or your friend with a small business or whatever. And then you just say, I'm currently looking to expand my skills and portfolio. I want to build my portfolio based on real projects for a real purpose. Therefore, I'm offering to create training for your organization for free. And if I can use samples in my portfolio, I'd be happy to chat more about your needs and my process. Schedule a time with me here. And so you guys can actually get a Calendly account for free if you guys want to do it this way, or you can do it the old fashioned way, right? You guys can just like go back and forth with emails, but I love Calendly. It's easy for people to commit to the yes because all they have to do is click a date and commit to it, and it sends an automated invite that they put on their calendar, and like that is happening, right? And so you guys could go and set up a Calendly account, maybe just for this client kickoff, but it's so useful. You might actually keep your Calendly account and use it to set up meetings with your subject matter experts and so on and so forth. So that's what I would do. Just something like this, something really easy. I want to build training. I want to build it for a purpose. I'll do it for free. Let's have a conversation. That's it. That's all you have to do. And I can't remember the name of the person that actually got a paid client through posting on her Facebook group, but she said that she had so many people respond to her message, and I imagine that it is going to be the same for you. I don't know if you guys have noticed or not, but online learning is where it's at right now, and so I don't imagine that you're going to have any trouble finding somebody that would love for you to create something for free for them that has something to do with online learning. Okay. And of course, I'll put my slides in the course with this recording, and so, or you can come back to it and take a screenshot of my prompt if you want. Okay. Now that you have got somebody who scheduled a call with you, whether you did that old fashioned way, right? Or you gave them the Calendly link, you're going to schedule a meeting and you're just going to have a kickoff call. And so the thing that you want to come prepared with is some questions. So do your homework about the organization, maybe if it's your friend's business, like go dig around on her website. If it's an organization that you have pitched to and they have scheduled time with you, go look at their website, see what it is that they do, come up with maybe some ideas, just ideas off the top of your head. I'm sure that they are going to have their own idea and that's really what you want, but just be prepared. That's all I'm saying is just be prepared. You don't need to be crazy prepared, but just like have your questions ready and know a little bit about their organization and their business. That's it. That's the kind of preparation that I would expect from you. All right. So I have kind of just briefly put up some of the types of questions for you. And then I'm also going to show you in the course where you can find all kinds of questions if you want to be over prepared. Okay. But remember, like you are also need to be protective of your time and you also need to be respectful of their time too. So you really just want to know like what kind of problems are they having or what kind of needs do they have? And what are some of the things that you can do as a learning designer to solve some of those problems for them? That's really it. That is your goal for your kickoff call, right? And so you'll say things like, oh, thank you so much for this opportunity to work for you and your organization. Could you tell me a little bit more about your organization and maybe some of these training needs that you've identified? And they're going to talk. And so you can record your meeting and of course take notes, right? And then you're going to ask them, they're going to say, oh, well, we've noticed that, when people come and adopt dogs from our shelter, they need to know a list of things to buy for the puppy and some, general care for their new pet. And so we'd like to, send them through a basic training and give them some checklists or whatever. Okay, great. And then she'll say, okay, so what does success look like? Like how much of care for the animal should they know and whatever. And so just say like, what does success look like? And then the reason why you're asking questions is because they're not going to remember everything to tell you about their training needs when you just say, tell me a little bit about your organization and the training needs you identified. Instead, these questions will spark conversations that will get them to get into information about the project, about things that they've noticed, about problems that they've had. And you want all this kind of information because it'll help you really plan your solution. And then you might say things like, oh, okay, so who's this training for? Is this, for people that are brand new to owning dogs? Are they younger? Are they older? And so on and so forth. So who are these learners? What is their role? What's their seniority level, right? So if it's for business and they're hiring somebody new, is it a manager? Is it an executive? Is it an individual contributor? Who are the learners? Okay. What do they already know about this training that you want to create? What are they currently doing and what should they be doing instead? So these are just simple questions, like who are these people? What do they need to know? What do they need to do? Do you have any existing materials around this topic? Do you have like a training manual, a job aid, some Word documents that you threw up on a Google Drive somewhere? Do you got some PowerPoints that you've delivered? Do you have an outline that you started but never finished? What kind of resources and materials do you already have? And so sometimes they may say nothing. Sometimes they may say, oh, we have a whole dump file, but really the problem is that it's a whole dump file and people, that's not a course, that's just information, and information is not instruction. And so, so you just want to know, like, what do you already have? What do I have to work with? And then you might say, oh, do you have any other training already in place? because you might want to know, like, well, if they already done training, do they already have something, a format that they like their training to go in? Maybe they already have some analytics around the success of their current training, and so they might want you to build another similar training about a different topic, or so on and so forth. And that'll actually really help you if they already have some kind of training that they like in place. It'll also help you if they have training in place that they don't like, because then you could just do a refresh, and that's a pretty easy. Rebuilds are fun to build on. And then another question you might ask is, do you have a learning management system? And why would you ask that? Well, because you want to know, like, if I decide after I've gathered all this information from you that your training solution might be an online interactive course, well, is it going to have a place to store it? Am I going to have to put it on a website? And, what kind of security does it need to have? And do you need to track the progress of the learners and things like that? So you just want to know, well, like, what kind of things do you already have in place? Now, don't worry, right? You're just asking questions at this point. You don't have to come up with the solutions during the kickoff call, okay? You are just asking questions. You are just intaking information. Do you have a subject matter expert that I can work with? Do you have somebody that I can work with on this project? So you've identified a training need. Is there somebody that I can go to interview and ask specific questions about the content? And so they might say, well, we've got Jan. She knows everything about taking care of animals or whatever. And so, and she'll be able to meet with you or whatever. So great, I got Jan. So that's all you're asking. All you're asking is, do I have somebody that I can interview? That's really what you want there. Do you have a subject matter expert? And then you say, what's kind of your ideal deadline? So are you onboarding somebody in a month, or, would you like this done in a couple weeks, and so on and so forth? And then my advice, and I think this answers one of the questions I saw come in before I got started, is you might want to tell them right here at the beginning, like, I'm really looking for a project that I can complete in 2 to 3 weeks. Okay? Because you guys have to put some kind of, you've got to narrow down your scope a little bit, right? Because if somebody says, yes, we'd love you to build an entire online university for us, blah, blah, blah. And you're not going to do that, okay? You guys are going to be protective of your time. You're really just looking for some experience and context to build some portfolio assets. So maybe that's like one e-learning course, maybe a couple videos, right? Maybe a plan for them to go and hire to build more later, or them to pay you to build later more, okay? And so you just want to say, this is good. This is really good information. Just so you know, I'm looking for a piece of your project that I can complete in 2 to 3 weeks. Of course, your whatever your guys' time frames are, then you might change what I've said here. But you really want to let them know up front that although that you're asking for their full problem and what they would like their full solution to be, the piece that you will be working on will be something that you can complete in 2 to 3 weeks. Like, okay, I don't want you guys to like get this client and they ask you for a full course library and then you feel obligated to build a full course library. That's not at all. Instead, you're finding out that you're going through the process, and then you're going to pick a piece that you can build. Okay? I just want to make that clear. And if you say that in the kickoff, I'm sure they're still going to be happy with it, because they're still getting free work, okay? All right, and so obviously I've already mentioned that you'll want to record the conversation and take notes. And at this point, I want to show you in the Academy where you can go and get some of this more information. So, right here, there is a needs analysis section. You can just search needs analysis, but there's a couple of different ways that you can find needs analysis. So here is a needs analysis overview. we get into the types of needs analysis, right? Here's some of the questions that you could use. Here's another link that you could go through, different approaches. And so if you guys really want to get into the weeds of this before you start with your client, that's totally fine. It'll just inform what you're doing. But remember, you're trying to keep it simple, okay? You're just trying to walk through the process. It's not, you don't have to do it perfect. And really, you're just trying to find out, like, what's success look like? Do you have resources? And do you have a way for me to host content? If not, then you're going to have to come up with ways to host content for them. And then we have a couple other things in here, like some case studies, so that you can see it in context too, and so you can apply that to your own thing. We also have, if you just search needs analysis, because that's what you're doing when you're meeting with your all right, so here's more. Okay, so there's plenty for you guys to dive into if you guys want to know more about this needs analysis process. But I've just tried to make it get really simple for you, because we get in the weeds in here. And then another place that you can find, I give a project plan for e-learning development. A lot of what you're probably going to create for these people are going to be some type of e-learning or resource. I mean, it just depends on their problem, of course, or what kind of training they're looking for. But I imagine many of you will be creating some type of online learning solution, right? And so I have an e-learning development project plan that you can use after you get off the phone call with them to try to work out some of your ideas, a project schedule, and I get into how to do all this in this video here, and so on and so forth. So that's where another resource is. And then if you wanted to, as far as course outlines and things like that, like your instructional design document, you could even start building your instructional design document around your client project. And so more information about that is in the Academy and design document. There's more, okay? So even though I'm kind of like going high level in this group coaching, you're still supported in the Academy with more if you want more. But you could really just run a successful kickoff call, just kind of taking what I'm telling you right now. All right, and so like I said, record the conversation and take notes. You'll probably refer to them later. Now, when you are done with your kickoff call and you're kind of thinking about back to like all the things that they shared with you, there's many different types of needs analysis that are useful to determine the type of training. This is the three common ones: knowledge and skills, job and task analysis, or competency based. You guys are probably going to live in the knowledge and skills or the job and task analysis, right? So knowledge and skills might be like software training or onboarding. Job and task might be specifically how to do their job. So how to repair a washing machine, or how to recruit passive candidates. And so just you'll want to identify, well, which one of these types of needs analysis is going to be useful based on the project that they have, right? So if it's maybe if it's the Humane Society and they need to train their kennel workers on how to care for and clean out the kennels, well, then that would be a job and task analysis. And so you know that you will do a task analysis before you design your full training outline. And if you know that's the case, then you can search task analysis and find more information about how to do a task analysis in the Academy. Okay. And then what I recommend is after your kickoff call and you've kind of wrapped your head around it, maybe you've asked some more questions in our Facebook group, maybe you showed up to the mentor sessions to be like, okay, so here's their problem. What do you think about these solutions, or whatever? Then you'll just want to write a follow-up email. And so you can include a project plan. Just like I said, there's a template in the the e-learning design lesson that I showed you. And of course you can search that in the Academy as well. Give them like a rough timeline. You're not committed to the timeline, but you're saying like, look, here's kind of my project plan. I'll need to do a task analysis, and then I'll need to meet with your subject matter expert, and then I'll write the outline, and then I will write the scripts, and I will design one e-learning course that's like 15 minutes or whatever for you by this date. And that's if all these milestones are met. And there's a timeline template on how to, set your project schedule in the Academy if you're interested in that as well. And then, of course, if you haven't already, make sure to get the contact information for your subject matter expert. And then you're just going to go through the instructional design process, right? And then you've already started with your analysis. So you're going to find out a little bit more about those learners and do a little more deep dive on that analysis phase. And then you're going to start to design and work with your subject matter experts and write your outlines and write your scripts. I mean, just depending on what your deliverables are going to be. And then once you've done all your design, you'll develop, and then you will implement. And of course, you're going to get some feedback along the way from your clients. Okay,